During the period of 1861 to 1877, the American plains underwent significant development as various groups of people moved to this vast and challenging region in search of new opportunities. The plains, stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, attracted a diverse array of settlers, including immigrants from Europe, Civil War veterans, freed African Americans, and families from the eastern United States seeking a new start. These different groups were drawn to the plains by the promise of land and the prospect of a better life, despite the hardships they would face in this harsh environment. The U.S. government played a crucial role in encouraging the settlement of the plains. Recognizing the potential of the vast, unsettled lands in the West, the government implemented policies designed to promote migration and development. One of the most significant of these policies was the Homestead Act of 1862, which provided settlers with 160 acres of land at little to no cost, provided they lived on and improved the land for at least 5 years. This act was designed to populate the plains with small, independent farmers and to spur economic growth in the region. The promise of free land attracted thousands of families to the plains, where they hoped to establish farms and build communities. In addition to the Homestead Act, the government passed the Pacific Railroad Act in 1862, which further facilitated the settlement of the plains. This act authorized the construction of a transcontinental railroad, which would connect the eastern states with the Pacific coast, traversing the plains in the process. The Union Pacific and Central Pacific Railroad companies were tasked with building the railway, and to incentivize this massive undertaking, the government granted these companies large tracts of land on either side of the proposed railway line. The railroad companies, in turn, sold portions of this land to settlers, actively encouraging further migration to the west. The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 revolutionized transportation and communication across the country, making it easier for settlers to move to the plains and for goods and services to reach these remote areas. Life on the plains, however, was incredibly challenging for the homesteaders who made the journey. The land, though abundant, was often difficult to farm due to its dry climate, extreme weather conditions, and the lack of trees. Settlers had to contend with harsh winters, blistering summers, and frequent droughts, which made farming a precarious endeavor. The absence of wood for building and fuel forced many homesteaders to construct their homes out of sod, cutting thick blocks of earth to create crude but functional shelters known as sod dyes. These homes, while practical, offered little protection from the elements and were prone to leaks and infestations. The isolation of life on the plains also took a toll on many settlers. Communities were sparse and far apart, leaving families isolated from neighbors and essential services. Homesteaders had to be self-reliant, growing their own food, making their own clothes, and finding ways to survive in an often unforgiving environment. Despite the hardships, many settlers persisted, driven by the promise of owning their own land and the hope of building a better future for themselves and their families. The development of the plains during this period was a complex and transformative process, shaped by the interplay of government policies, economic opportunities, and the resilience of the people who settled the land. The Homestead Act, the Pacific Railroad Act, and the efforts of the railroad companies all played pivotal roles in promoting migration to the plains, leading to the establishment of new farms, towns, and communities across the region. Yet, the challenges of life on the plains also highlighted the difficulties of westward expansion and the resilience required to succeed in such a demanding environment.